שלום, ברוכים הבאים לפרק נוסף של פשוט נדל"ן. היום אנחנו עדיין ממשיכים בסדרה שלנו מיוון, ואיתנו אורחת מיוחדת מאוד, אורו. אני אעבור לאנגלית כדי שכולכם וגם היא תוכל לדבר, למרות שהיא דוברת קצת עברית. אז hello and welcome again to another episode of פשוט נדל"ן.
Hello, פשוט נדל"ן.
Hey Oro, how are you?
Fine, nice to be with you.
Yes, very nice to be with you. So you are working in the industry of real estate in Greece for how long?
I'm working in real estate in Greece since 2014, so basically
10 years.
10 years, נכון.
What did you do before? Oh, you know what? Just introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Oro Romano, אני יהודייה יווניה. אני מדברת קצת עברית.
Yes.
So let's go to English. I love what I'm doing in real estate. I have a lot of Israeli customers. I work in real estate in the last 10 years, since 2014. Basically, I have a lot of Israeli customers last few years. There is a big demand for real estate in Greece, and mostly in Athens and in Athens center mostly.
Yeah.
So, real estate has been doing very well last few years. You all know that we had the crisis since 2008 in Greece, which lasted for a long time, almost 10 years. Now is much better the situation, meaning that from one point of view for Greece is good and for the Greek people. Regarding real estate, the prices have gone up a lot the last 3-4 years.
So first of all, we know each other, I think 6 years already?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's been a blast to know you, and I'm really happy that we got to work together. Also for my perspective and for other clients, we did some things together in the past.
You have been my customer for some years.
Yeah.
Buying property through me. And I believe you're happy. And you're happy with the return that you have been making.
Yeah.
And also from flipping some of the properties.
Yeah. In the beginning, we done more flipping, and in the last few years, I moved.
Yes,
more.
The last 2-3 years is mostly for investment.
Yeah, like long term.
Long term, yes,
Yeah.
Renting to with a long term lease.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how we know each other, and I would like to ask you a few questions about the market and what's changed in the last few years. So first of all, tell us about the current situation. Now we are recording this on the May 2024. Is it still good to invest in Athens, or we passed the good times that the properties were cheaper?
Well, I will tell you. In Greece, we have a lot of people coming to invest. A lot of people also have it as like a home for holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So, my opinion is that it's still good time to buy properties. The prices are still, they have gone up the last 3 years, but they are not as high as in other cities in Europe. And certainly much lower prices than in Israel.
Yeah, this is for sure.
Yeah. So, still, somebody with 100,000 euros can buy a small apartment of 50 square meters. In a nice area. So I think that, 2,000 per square meter, it's still a good price.
You think it will still go up? Like, what was the price before the crisis? It was higher than now, or now we are in the peak again?
We haven't reached this high level in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
Some areas like Kolonaki, for instance, which is the most expensive area in Athens. It's like center of Tel Aviv. prices are as high as they used to be before the crisis and even higher. So basically, the situation at the moment is that there is still room for prices to move higher.
All right. Where do you think, for us as Israelis that don't have a big, like so much budget, which is the area that you are recommend to invest? Like which neighborhoods you think is the next opportunity?
Well, of course, the Israelis have various budgets, smaller and bigger.
Yeah.
There are people that come and they want to invest and buy a small apartment with 100,000 euros. And people that come and they tell me we have 200 or 300,000 to buy an apartment. So, well, basically for the smaller budgets is mostly Kypseli and the Patissia area for like the 100,000. But I will tell you what, I mean, recently I sold an apartment in Pangrati, and Pangrati is considered a very good area. So the price was 125,000 for 50 square meters, second floor apartment, fully renovated, even equipped with furniture and electrical appliances.
Wow.
So as you realize, it's not so expensive. So if we go a bit higher on the budget, like 120, 150,000, we can find in very good areas in Pangrati or Elysia or Ambelokipi a renovated apartment of 50 square meters.
Which apartment should I buy? Something that needs to be renovated and then I will make the renovate, or something that already been renovated before? What is different?
Well, basically, I have realized that this depends entirely up to the customer. There are people that they like to buy non-renovated apartments because they want to make it themselves the way they like, the way their taste.
Yeah.
So some people prefer to renovate themselves. Some people prefer to buy a renovated apartment so they don't go through the process of renovation, which takes time and, of course, a lot of money as well. And
effort and
absolutely. Effort and it's time consuming as well.
Yeah. From my perspective, at least in the past, it was really worth it because you can buy a really cheap apartment, renovate it, and then sell it in much higher price than the renovate plus the apartment.
Exactly. This is absolutely true.
Is the same or something changed?
It's not. Unfortunately, this is not the case nowadays. Why? Because at that time that you are talking about, it was, you could find an apartment, let's say for 50,000, make a renovation with like 25,000, total cost 75, and sell it in 100,000.
Yeah.
So
I made it twice.
Exactly. So this was the case in the past. But nowadays, the problem is that the cost of renovation has gone up a lot. Aluminum prices are up 50-60%.
Because of the war in Ukraine?
After the war in Ukraine, prices started really to climb.
Yeah.
Meaning that nowadays you cannot renovate with 25,000 that you used to need to renovate an apartment of 50 square meters. Nowadays you have to, invest like 50% more.
Wow.
For the renovation. So if
and the price doesn't.
So if in the past you would be able to make a renovation with 20,000, now for the same renovation you need 30,000.
I see.
So meaning that you buy the non-renovated apartment, in any case, higher than what you used to pay 5-6 years ago. Renovation costs have gone 50% higher. So when it comes to the selling, you will sell, maybe you can make like 10% profit, but don't expect to make 20 or 30%. It doesn't exist anymore.
All right. If I have like 200 or 300,000 euros, should I buy one big property or really expensive area like Kolonaki, or should I buy 2 or 3 apartments in the surrounding area. What is your opinion about it?
Well, it all depends what is the purpose of buying this property. I have Israeli customers that are willing and able to spend like 2, 3, 4, $500,000 euros for an apartment in Kolonaki, because they want it mostly for their own use. Whenever they come on holidays, or also as a second home in Greece. They love Greece. They love the music, the people, hopefully the food. So we are very similar regarding we are warm people, happy people.
Definitely.
And hopefully after the war, the people will be even happier and even more willing to travel more and to have a better mood. So basically, as I told you, my advice is, if somebody wants to buy for investment, certainly it's better to buy 2 apartments in Kypseli area with these 200,000 euros rather than invest the 200 and buy an apartment in Elysia.
Yeah. So I'll just say for the Israelis that there's no difference between the first apartment and the second apartment regarding the tax. Because in Israel, there is a difference. If you have only one, they give you like a discount. Here in Greece, it's all the same. It's 3.09 per apartment.
Well, the tax is fixed, as you just mentioned. 309 on the value of the apartment, which is written in the contract, of course. So it doesn't matter if it's first apartment, second, or 50 apartment.
All right. By the way, there is a limit, like the government can say, okay, you have enough apartment.
There is no limit whatsoever.
All right, good.
You can buy all of Athens.
I'm working on it.
Okay, great.
All right. Okay. Can you tell us about the process, like how people can buy the apartment from abroad? Do you recommend them to come and see the apartment? They can trust you and you can make them videos, or what the process to buy an apartment?
Okay, well, the process is the following. First of all, people come to me because they have a recommendation from some other customer and they were happy with their investment. So then, let's say they contact me. Then they tell me what is the purpose of this investment, what is their budget, if they have any specific preference regarding the area. After I get all this information, I send them some various options according to their criteria, and then they plan a visit to Athens. I show them these apartments that they have chosen to see. Like out of the 10 I send them, they choose like 3 or 4. They come over for a day or 2. It takes only 1 day actually. They can even come in the morning and fly back in the evening, and they can see, we'll go around, they see all these various options. And then after they decide, the next step is tax ID, lawyer who checks the titles of the apartment. If the titles are okay, then they have to give a down payment to the seller, which is usually between 5 to 10% of the value of the property. And then the process starts, meaning the seller has to provide all the documents necessary for the sale. And the buyer, the Israeli customer in that case, has to open a Greek bank account. Of course, the tax ID and the Greek bank account is the job of the lawyer. It's not my job. My job is to find the right property for the customer.
So once we finish the deal, we paid the full amount, now we have the apartment. How to manage it? What do we need to do? What we need to take in consider? How you manage it?
Okay. Now you made a very crucial point here. because a lot of Israelis buy properties, and then what is after? The after sales. Okay. Again, here I have a company with a partner that I can offer the so-called after sales service, meaning to find the right tenant for their property and to manage it. In other words, take care of whatever can be needed during the years.
And what the price for this?
This service is paid with 1 month's rent per year.
The same as Israel. In Israel, it's also common. It's
1 month's rent. Oh, okay.
Yeah, good to know.
Nice. Yes, fantastic. So we are exactly the same.
Yeah, also the 2% that common here.
Yes,
it's the same in Israel. So
okay, so it's 2% like in Israel. My fee, agent's fee, and this is the fee that most agents work. This is actually the minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, someone can ask for 3, 4, 5, whatever. The minimum is 2%. And then, as a management company, it's 1 month's rent.
All right.
So there are other companies that they charge percentage, like let's say 10% per year. I do it a different way, 1 month's rent in the beginning of the management period.
All right. And what kind of disaster you can imagine, like something broken, and how can you manage with it, especially if you live abroad and you don't know if it's really happened, what happened, like what the process of if something gets wrong, what, like, do you go there, do you show him?
Now I have to ask you, during all these years that I'm managing your properties, did you ever face any big problem, any big balagan?
So good. So first of all, I myself renovated the apartment before I entered the tenant. So this was something that I took in consider.
I mean, the most common problems that one can face are a failure of plumbing, like the sewage system. Some maybe also a boiler can break.
Yeah.
Like also it can be some that we need to change the electricity board, some electrical wires. I mean, things that have to do with plumbing or electricity.
Yeah.
Usually, apartments that are fully renovated, we don't really face this kind of problems, at least in the first few years after the renovation.
So you recommend even if you buy not renovated house, even you don't make a profit from it, just renovate it just to have a good sleep back in Israel?
Well, I think that in any case, what I always recommend to my customers is either they buy a renovated apartment. If not, they buy a non-renovated apartment. In this case, they have to do a renovation, because in the future, there will be lots of problems regarding electricity and plumbing. Plus, we don't have a good chance to find a good tenant for a non-renovated apartment. So I always advise to my customers that when they buy an apartment that is not renovated, to make the renovation and then rent it. First of all, we have much bigger chance to find a good tenant to rent it, and also get a much higher rent. Plus, the value of this property increases a lot. After renovation, it goes up 20-30%.
Yeah. Even if the renovation cost me 20%, it's still worth it, because I will get that.
It's worth it because the money is in this property.
Yeah.
So it's like, and even more. I mean, if you spend 20,000, the increase in this property is 30,000.
Yeah. Okay. What is your opinion about Airbnb apartment in Athens?
Well, regarding Airbnb, this is a question I face very often.
Yeah, I know.
To be honest, a lot of people think that when you do Airbnb, you make much more money, that the return is much higher. This is not true. And I'm saying this because if one takes it into consideration, all the costs, meaning cost of Airbnb or booking, whichever platform you are using, you have to pay them a percentage.
Yeah.
And usually this is a high percentage. For instance, in booking is 15% minimum. Then you have to pay the person, the company who is going to manage this Airbnb apartment, at least another 15%, 15 to 20. So let's make it the minimum. 15% to booking, plus 15% to the management company, 30%.
Plus tax.
Plus tax, which is minimum another 15%. We are already in the 45.
Yeah.
Plus cleaning, laundry, Wi-Fi, electricity, water, whatever damage can happen, because when you rent Airbnb, people come and go. Mm-hmm. So there are usually, there you can have some damages.
Yeah.
So more expenses.
So it ends up at least 50, 60% of
At least, all the other expenses like electricity and Wi-Fi, it's 5% for sure. If not 10.
Yeah.
So you end up, if you make, let's say, 1,000 per month through Airbnb, you will end up with less than 500 per month.
And the same apartment will give you something like, let's say 400, 450 with the regular.
500 with the regular rent.
Okay.
Because take into consideration also that Airbnb is not all year around.
Yeah.
A tourist visit Athens in the summertime, spring and autumn, not in the winter. So basically you have, let's say, 6-7 months per year.
Yeah.
So if you calculate the 7 months per year, even if you get much more than the regular rent, still you have to take into consideration that the other 5 months, the apartment is almost empty.
Yeah. Yeah. Although we haven't thought about the tax on the long term, because the tax is
absolutely
both.
The tax is always there.
Yeah.
You cannot avoid it. This is for sure. But when you make the calculation that it's not rented all year around in Airbnb, then you will really, believe me, if we put down the numbers, the end result is not so, let's say, attractive as people think.
All right.
The only reason that I would recommend to an Israeli customer to rent through Airbnb is only if himself and his family want to use this property for them as well. So I have a couple of customers that they have Airbnb apartments, but they come like 4 or 5 times a year.
Mm.
Usually in the winter time, that is low season, no tourists. So in this case, if somebody wants to use, if you would tell me, look, Oro, I want to come, let's say 3 months a year in total to stay in Greece. In this case, there is no other option but to do Airbnb.
Yeah.
So no matter if it's more attractive or less attractive, there is no other option.
Yeah. From my perspective, if you come even for a month, this is what I'm doing, is rent for long term, and then rent an Airbnb.
Yes, and go for this month.
Yeah, the Airbnb here is not so expensive as people think.
As people think.
Yeah.
No, for sure it's not so expensive, but I'll tell you what. I have a couple of customers, like I already told you, that they really come and spend long time.
Yeah, if it's long time.
In Athens, they are people that they don't work. They are pensioners. So these people, somebody who is 70 years old and wants to spend, or 80, let's say 3, 4, 5 months a year in Athens, then this is a different case.
Can you give us some tips, like do or don't do when you come to buy a property in Greece?
Well, first of all, come and buy a property in Greece.
This is the first tip.
Then the second tip is, of course, I recommend that if you choose like 2-3 properties that out of 10 that you have chosen from the photos and you want to come and see, either having me as your agent or someone else, then a part of visiting these properties daytime, please go and visit these properties in the evening, like 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Because some areas, like Omonia, for instance, you can go daytime and they can, it looks to you like, okay, it's nice, it's okay. When you go 9 o'clock in the evening, you will see what the difference is. You will see junkies, you will see immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggest always go evening time as well.
Perfect. Do you have any more tips? Or
more tips? Well, of course, have a good lawyer.
Yeah.
That would go and check the titles thoroughly.
Yeah, this is a good tip.
This is very important. Your lawyer, of course, your agent,
Mm-hmm.
to someone to trust.
Yeah.
And to know that whatever you are told, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, I always say, it's good to travel with your wife or your husband, so you have a second opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, perfect.
This is my opinion, at least.
No, this is great tips. What percentage do we need to expect if we come to invest here? Like, how much?
What kind of return?
Oh, yeah, exactly. What's the monthly return that it's common?
This is a very hot question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you were to ask me like 5-6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I would give you an answer like 6, 7, even 8% sometimes could be feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, like a realistic return is somewhere between 4 to 5%.
Before tax.
This is before tax, yes.
Wow.
So as you can understand, it's not so attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you have to have in mind that it's not only the yearly return, but the yearly appreciation of the property.
Yeah.
Because the last few years, for instance, you could make, let's say, 6% yearly return. But what was more attractive was the appreciation.
Yeah.
So still, we have higher and higher values every year.
This is true. Regarding the new metro line and new projects that happen in Athens, can you tell us about those projects? Where should we look for it, or what happened? Do you think it will appreciate the apartment around it?
Yes, absolutely. Recently, I had some tours with Israeli customers, and I keep telling them that, insisting actually to buy a properties close to the new metro line, because this, of course, will be a big benefit for the potential tenant, plus for the value, for the appreciation of this property.
Can you tell us about the line, where it goes, like which area should we focus?
Well, I can tell you that there will be a new line in area of Pangrati.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a new line in the area of Gizi,
Mm-hmm.
but also in Kolonaki Square.
Yeah.
So Well, basically, I have to have a map to show you exactly the places, I mean, the locations.
You can look for it in Google, just a yellow line.
Yes, and you can check it, yes, through Google, exactly where the new metro line will be passing by. Of course, it's, metro is really important for the tenant, as I mentioned to you, because, they go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always very convenient for people to use the metro.
Yes.
In Athens, we have really, a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
So people prefer to use the metro.
Yeah, this is true. Okay, we are getting to the end of the interview. I would like to ask you before we finish, where do you invest your money? Which kind of properties you want to, if you want to share, of course, you have, and where it's located, and how do you invest your money?
I'm currently thinking, and I'm in the process of buying an apartment in Pankrati.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I mean, this is what I do for myself. I buy properties in the center,
Mm-hmm.
and I rent them.
And
whenever I have like a good, let's say, income by selling, I mean, a good appreciation in a property, then like I did a year ago, I mean, 2 years ago, I bought an apartment in the center. I sold it to a Chinese woman. I made a good profit, good income. And I sold it. So now I intend to buy a property, a small apartment in Pankrati. I don't intend to sell it next day. There is no interest, actually, no reason to do that. So I intend to buy it and rent it long term,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe in 3-4 years to resell.
Okay. Thank you very much for your knowledge.
תודה רבה לך.
Yeah, you want to show us some of your talent in Hebrew?
My talent in Hebrew. Well,
rather than פשוט נדל"ן, I know.
Yes, פשוט נדל"ן. Well, actually, אני לומדת עברית 3 שנים.
Wow.
And well, I hope next time I'll be able to tell you more.
Yes.
And since it's Friday today, יום שישי באתונה, שבת שלום.
Shabbat shalom to all of you. Thank you very much, Oro. It was really nice to host you and have your knowledge in the podcast. And I'm sure people will contact you. We'll give your information in the comment. If you like this interview, please subscribe, give us 5 stars or 5 כוכבים, and see you next time. Bye bye.
שלום, שלום.
Shalom.